Hello everybody and welcome back to HoundClan, but it's not time for year 3 yet because we still have a battle that has to happen. HoundClan versus RootClan. This video will be a play-by-play of the battle that happened, and some stuff that happened afterwards. The link to the battle genner I made will also be in the description if you want to make one for yourself or just check out what the other options were. Also, blood warning for this video because there are quite a few deaths, more than I expected unfortunately. But with that all out of the way, it's time for the battle. It was the starless night on the plains of RootClan territory, and every cat within was on edge. The threat of HoundClan was around every corner, but they barely had enough cats to patrol, let alone defend against their vicious enemy clan. They didn't want to fight. They couldn't fight. Unfortunately, they wouldn't have a choice in mere moments. Young Thunderseed was on patrol that night alone, for this was not a normal patrol. She was searching for two clanmates who never returned to camp. Cats had spread out as best they could to try and find them, with no luck for hours. Then, the scent hit her nose. Blood. Thunderseed felt her fur rise as she trotted towards the scent. There, right on the border of HoundClan and RootClan, was Whispering Beak, the medicine cat, and Weedpaw, dead. Before she could even react, HoundClan cats burst from the bushes and bounded towards her, with blood already staining their lips. An ambush! Thunderseed turned and ran, yowling as loud as she could to warn her clanmates of the invasion. It was only thanks to RootClan's speed that Thunderseed was not killed too. Just as her lungs began to scream for air, RootClan cats burst from their tunnel homes below and launched themselves at the HoundClan invaders. The battle had truly begun. Thunderseed whipped around to face Fudge, the two cats battling but meeting blow to blow. Fudge was still recovering from having her kits, and Thunderseed was exhausted from escaping the ambush. They dodged and slashed, with no cat able to gain the upper paw. Sporepaw boldly charges at Midgepaw, their claws out as they yowl a battle cry. Midgepaw, young and unprepared for battle, panics and runs away before gaining even a scratch on their pelt. In the sea of battling cats, Willowthrift spots his apprentice. Dusty Spot and an injured Chanel have them trapped, with Chanel's jaws clamped tightly around the apprentice's collar. Willowthrift rushes forward and slams into the side of Chanel, knocking them off the cat. Morepaw uses the sudden attack to her advantage to launch at Dusty Spot and slash them across the face. Morepaw stands by her mentor, prepared to battle again with his help. The two RootClan cats' pelts prickle with intimidation, and they turn and retreat back into the battle. Goldenpaw freezes in terror. The snapping and hissing and howling is overwhelming to him. In his daze, he fails to see Breezefern until the cat has knocked him to the ground. The older warrior snarls at the apprentice, warning him to run before he gets himself killed. Goldenpaw turns and flees from the battle, ashamed but alive. Across the battlefield, Buckpaw chases off Skypaw with clawless blows and empty snarls. He watches the younger apprentice run away, not giving chase, and turns back to the battle once he's sure the apprentice is away from the bloodshed. A furious Burnitshade is the first to truly draw blood. She pins the terrified Mistlepaw to the ground and kills the apprentice with a fierce and accurate blow. As the apprentice's eyes fade, Burnitshade hears a roar of fury behind them. Dustypaw, Mistlepaw's brother, rushes forward and tackles the unprepared medicine cat to the ground. As his teeth sink into her throat, he lashes out with his claws, ripping the skin out as hard as he can. By the time she manages to knock the apprentice off, she's lost too much blood and collapses into the grass, breathing her last breath. On the other side of the battle, Conquerskip finds themselves in a similar situation, with Starling Leaf pinned underneath them. The cat is already injured, but had joined the battle to try and save his clanmates. A vengeful Conquerskip raised their paw, prepared to make the killing blow, but then hesitated. They realize in that moment that this bloodshed is not what their sister would want. They release their grip on the cat and back up. Starling Leaf quickly scrambles away without looking back, leaving Conquerskip to stare up at the few stars in the sky for one long, mournful moment. As more cats get badly injured, Punnelhoney rushes into the fray, desperate to help some of her injured clanmates off the battlefield. Unfortunately, Berlioz has spotted her. He rushes for the young medicine cat and tackles her to the ground, just out of reach of one of her dying clanmates. With a vicious grin, Berlioz kills Puddlehoney in cold blood. Kestrelfeather, Puddlehoney's sibling, and Dahliapaw rush at Berlioz with roars of anger. Just like Berlioz, they show no mercy, with Kestrelfeather pinning the cat to the ground as Dahliapaw makes the killing blow. A retreating Cosmos Fern is blocked from the forest by a furious Wiggle Strike. The warrior, angry over the lives of their lost clanmates, wants blood. Cosmos Fern's pleas fall on deaf ears as they make the killing blow, believing it justice for their lost clanmates. As they rush off to another part of the battle, Civet Stripe spots the bleeding Cosmos Fern and frantically tries to save their life. He begs Cosmos Fern to stay awake, but there's no saving him. Cosmos Fern's life fades away right in front of him, and for the first time, Civet Stripe feels his eyes open. He looks around at the war and death around them, and then at Hushstar, and feels his faith in the leader vanish. In that moment, Civet Stripe understood Cosmos Fern more than he ever had, and realized the cat was right. Nothing was worth this much death. A frantic Swamppaw rushes between the battling cats, his heart racing in his ears. He stumbled upon Dahliapaw, who now has a haunted look in her eyes and blood staining her fur. They exchange a look and realize that neither truly wants to fight the other. Without a word, they go their separate ways. But as Swamppaw runs, he hears a sound. He spots Firefern, the RootClan deputy, being chased by Hushwhisper. The deputy is heavily injured and obviously trying to retreat, but Hushwhisper isn't going to let him live. As Hushwhisper goes for the killing blow, Swamppaw rushes forward, desperate to stop such a cruel act. Unfortunately, Poppypaw spots the HoundClan apprentice and assumed he was going to help kill the RootClan cat. Desperate to help her deputy, she shoves her weight into Sporepaw and knocks him to the ground. Before he can explain himself, she brings down her claws and kills him. But even with stopping a supposed attacker, it's already too late to save Firefern. The deputy of RootClan is dead. In the midst of battle, Falling Star is filled with shock. He spots his mate's body by the HoundClan border and hears yowls of his deputy's death. His clan is small, and even if they win a few fights, there's no way they will defeat the entirety of HoundClan alone. Hushstar stalks into view. Falling Star looks at him, more tired than he's ever been. Enough blood has been shed, he mewed. We'll surrender. We'll leave this place and you can take our territory. Please stop this now. But Hushstar has never been merciful. Falling Star is exhausted and heartbroken, and Hushstar is vicious and desperate. Using the same move he used on Mornstar, Hushstar kills the RootClan leader and takes all of his remaining lives in one fell blow. A shocked silence falls over the plains. The RootClan cats begin to panic. Their leader, their deputy, and medicine cats are dead. HoundClan stands triumphant. They've lost. But then, Gingerpelt rushes forward. He yowls through the air and reminds his clans of their lost clanmates, a Falling Star, Firefern, and everyone else who should not have to die in vain. He reminds them that the plains belong to them, and nobody will take it away from them. If HoundClan wants it, they'll have to take all of them down. The RootClan cats feel bolstered, but their true courage comes as yowls burst from the other side of the plains. All the cats turn to face the noise. HoundClan doesn't recognize them, but RootClan does. It's RubbleClan! Peach Star and her warriors rush forward, having arrived just in time to be reinforcements for RootClan. With their courage coming back, RootClan rushes into the fray with Gingerpelt in the lead and courageous yowls of their own. The battle begins anew, even more chaotic than before. HoundClan's confidence begins to waver. They were prepared for the weakness of RootClan, not the strength of two allied clans together. In the fray of battle, several HoundClan cats are forced to retreat as they face the united front. These strange new cats making them panic and flee in fear of their own lives. In the chaos of it all, one cat is scheming. Hushwhisper prowls along the edges, his eyes on an injured Brown Rapid. She's limping and breathing heavily, and he realizes this is his chance. Cliff Dazzle was right. If he can take out Brown Rapid, he can be deputy. Then his father will truly see how strong he is. He dashes through the cats and charges Brown Rapid. She's shocked. Her eyes flash with betrayal before she starts to fight back with all her might. Her claws furiously, desperately slash at his stomach as he goes for her throat. The two cats break apart, and Hushwhisper stumbles for a second before he collapses, blood oozing from his wound. He dies moments before Brown Rapid's legs give out, and she falls sideways into the grass, the life fading out of her eyes as well. The deputy of HoundClan is dead. Hushstar hears the yowls and wails of Brown Rapid and Hushwhisper's death, of the deaths of his warriors, but none of them register. His mind is reeling as he rushes through the chaos, surrounded by enemies at all sides. He feels justified and angry. He was right. He'd always been right. StarClan was always against him. RootClan, MistClan, and whoever these cats were. All of them were plotting against him. They wanted to destroy HoundClan. No, they wanted to destroy him. They knew about his one life. Someone must have told them. Well, it didn't matter. If he was going out, he'd kill every cat he could on his way out. He rushes forward toward the closest cat, but was suddenly slammed into from the side. He stumbled back and turned to face the attacker, and felt his heart stop. It was his son, Dashnudge, the traitor who should have died in the fire. Or did he die? And was he here now, haunting Hushstar, just like the rest of HoundClan's dead? His hackles raised and he hissed, his mind reeling with rage and uncertainty. Before he could kill the spirit in front of him, another yowl rang out, louder and stronger than any so far. In the middle of the battle, Furflame roared above them all. She declared that the fighting had to stop. The bloodshed had gone too far. HoundClan had killed too many, and the other clans did not deserve this torment. She turned her glare onto Hushstar, and yelled about how he has done nothing but kill and hurt his entire reign, and it has to come to an end. The blood must stop spilling, now. That little traitor! Time and time again, Furflame had betrayed him, betrayed their clan. He knew he should have killed her all those moons ago. He wasn't going to let her live another moment longer. Hushstar didn't speak, he just launched. He tackled Furflame to the ground, but she wasn't going to let him hurt her again. She lashed out with all the fury she had held within herself these past 3 years, shedding as much blood as she possibly could. Then HoundClan reacted. Civetstripe, Hatchfox, and Buckpaw were the first to rush forward in a fury and tackled the leader to the ground. They were tired of the fear, the violence, the bloodshed, the hate. It was time for it to end. The fury of 4 cats and the inaction by the rest of his clan was too much for the leader. He never had a chance as Furflame sank her teeth into his neck and slashed at his belly, killing the leader and ending his reign of terror. The 3 clans stared in shocked silence again, this time in relief. As the clans gathered themselves, Furflame rose to her paws, and the stars seemed to shine brighter around her as she declared the battle to be over. With a respectful nod to RootClan and RubbleClan, the 3 clans gathered their dead and injured and went their separate ways. The war was over. Talk about craziness, huh? The generator was a lot more cruel than I thought, but also merciful at the same time. It was kind of wild. A lot more cats died than I expected, and some deaths really hurt me, especially Brown Rapid and Swamp Paw. But Hushstar is finally dead. HoundClan is free, but we're not done yet. After all, there's a new leader now, so it's time for you all to witness their leader ceremony. Flower Patch led the new leader to where they would be receiving their 9 lives. As they approached the site of the moon tree, the medicine cat held back, still uncertain and fearful of StarClan's opinion of her. The new leader climbed up into the hollow of the giant tree on their own, settling into a space cushioned with leaves and branches that seemed to cradle a cat perfectly. They looked up above them and spotted a hole at the very top of the tree, perfect for the moon's light to break through and shine down on the cats inside. As the moon moved into location, they felt themselves being pulled into a gentle slumber. Furflame opened her eyes to find herself standing on what seemed to be nothing, the stars and lights floating around her, and she was surrounded by a group of shimmering, starry cats. Russet Dawn stepped forward to greet her adoptive mother and welcome her to StarClan. Furflame greets her eagerly with a nuzzle and a purr. As they pull away, Russet Dawn touches her nose to Furflame's forehead and gives her her first life for courage, and notes that Furflame has already shown much of it in her life. Olive blazes next, greeting the cat with a respectful nod, before he leans forward and gives her a life for farsightedness, and tells her that the future of the clan was in her paws now. Brown Rapid steps forward, and Furflame can't help her grief at the sight. She thanks Brown Rapid for being there for her son, and for being an amazing and kind-hearted deputy, despite the circumstances that put her there. Brown Rapid smiles sadly and leans forward, giving her a life for resilience. Cloverwing shoved her way to the front of the crowd with boisterous yowls, happily bragging to Furflame about how she's here to give a life. She demands with a paw stomp that Furflame kneels down so she can reach. Once she does, Cloverwing grants her a life for laughter, and tells her not to become too boring just because she's a leader now. Stumpy Clash steps forward, a shameful and apologetic look on his face. He apologizes for his actions when he was alive, and thanks Furflame for not letting Hushstar stop her from doing the right thing. He leans forward and gives her a life for clear judgment, and tells her to keep fighting for what's right, no matter what. Twigleaf emerges from the starry cats, a sad smile on her face. Furflame can't help but return the sad smile, remembering how Twigleaf's murder was the beginning of everything. Twigleaf, as if sensing her thoughts, told her not to blame herself for what happened. What she needed to do now was continue to be a true leader, unlike Hushstar. She leans forward and gives her a life for mercy, and asks Furflame to look after Conquerskip for her. Cosmos Fern steps forward, looking much younger and happier than he ever had in the time Furflame had known him. He gives her a gentle smile, and tells her that leading will not be easy, but he can tell it suits her. He leans forward and gives her a life for energy, telling her that whether it's good times or bad times, she will need plenty of it. Next, Furflame's eyes go wide as she spots her mate, Tadpole Stripe. He rushes forward to greet her with nuzzles and purrs, and tells her how proud he is of her and their kits. He tells her that he knows she'll make a great leader, because she's a great cat. That's why he loved her. He gives her a life for love, and tells her not to rush to StarClan anytime soon, because he'll be with her and their family no matter what. Finally, Mornstar appears, the last true leader of HoundClan before Hushstar's brutal takeover. She smiles and thanks Furflame for saving the clan from destruction. Furflame, a little bashful, says she wasn't the only cat who was against Hushstar. Mornstar purrs and replies that that was true, but Furflame was the only one brave enough to never back down. She thanks her again, and then leans forward and gives her a life for justice, and tells Furflame to never forget just how strong she's always been. As the final life surges through her, Mornstar hails her by her new name, Furstar. As the StarClan cats chant her new name, Furstar vows to rebuild and care for HoundClan for the rest of her lives. And that's the end of the video. Year 3 of HoundClan will be the next video where we see how the clan is doing under the leadership of the new leader, Furstar! I would have added that to the end of this video, but this was already a crazy amount of work. This was my first technical animatic, and I thought it would be a good idea to make it over 100 drawings long. I can't really whine, I did it to myself, but I'm still super proud of the result, even if some of the drawings are a little messier than others, but it was a lot of work. And you may be wondering, what about the other clans? Well, we'll hear about them more in Year 3, and trust me, there's still plenty of drama. Even for MissClan, and they weren't even part of the battle. But we'll have to save that for the next video. Until then, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing. Remember to take care of yourselves, keep track of your 9 lives, and have a good day.